everybody. So right now we have a quick Q&A with Rob, who is actually he's the main man for this whole film. So if you have any questions, direct them.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for checking me out. There's a lot of background noise that might have been hard to hear. It's hard for me to hear. But if you'd like to watch it, you can see it on YouTube, and maybe you can hear the rest of it. You might have missed some of the dialogue.
Once again, how was it wearing all the hats?
Yeah. It's always a challenge to wear all the hats, which I generally do for everything I've done. So it's always challenging to be a producer, director, writer, casting agent, all that stuff, location scout. Sometimes even craft services. So yeah, I don't recommend it. I think you need to find a team that you can delegate to handle certain things, so you don't have to always answer all the questions. But I mean, I was lucky I had a good assistant director and script supervisor, so that always helps too.
How long have you been making?
I've been making movies since 2017, been writing screenplays for about 20 years now. But I do features, shorts. This is actually a proof of concept, so for those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically taking chunks of the script and trying to piece it together to create interest and spark. So maybe someone might see this, producer, someone who is interested in learning more about the story, and hopefully they'll help finance it, because getting financing is the biggest challenge for any filmmaker once they have something that they want to get distributed, get picked up, and to, in this case, to be able to tell the whole story, which would be a feature film, 2-hour movie. So we did what we could. It was a grueling process. We shot this in 3 days. Which is challenging because, as you can see, we had multiple locations. We filmed in East Greenwich. The whole thing was done in Rhode Island, East Greenwich, Pawtucket, Coventry. So we were all jumping all around, having company rooms, which is, it's not easy, especially for gaffers who have lots of lights and other equipment that they need to set up. We had limited time frames at the courthouse, at the person's house that we were using for the DeFeo home, it's trying. It's taxing on actors and on the crew, because we're moving so fast, and we don't have the luxury of doing 10 or 20 takes on a scene. So you're giving actors maybe 3 bites of the apple. But I was pretty fortunate. Most of my actors, my lead actors, some of you might recognize from other New England films. They really showed up prepared, so it made my job much easier.
Is it actually based off of real events, or is that just like...
Yeah, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Amityville horror. I'm guessing since you're here at this event, everyone knows of the 1979 film and all of the sequels that have come out over the last 40 years. So this is, this is a prequel, I guess, of some sorts, where the intention of this is to show all the events that led up to the arrest of Ronald DeFeo, to the investigation that the prosecutor Gerard Sullivan and the Suffolk County Police Department conducted to try to successfully prosecute him, which they did. A year later, he was found guilty of all 6 murders of his siblings and his parents, which essentially was a life sentence. He died 2 years ago in prison, in real life. So I'm hoping to have the opportunity someday to present the whole story, because I think it's interesting for anyone who loves true crime, which is a hot topic, has been for 10 years or at least, right, with Dateline and all those shows. So I think this story is great, because the real horror of Amityville wasn't, in my opinion at least, wasn't the haunted house. It was the actual murders of this family. It was, the cold-blooded murder of each of these children and parents. So that was my foundation for writing the script.
How much much research you do for that script?
Quite a bit of research. I actually networked a lot with the Suffolk County Courthouse. Unfortunately, believe it or not, a lot of the documentation for this original trial has been lost, which is hard to believe. It would have been backed up on microfilm or something like that. But they claim that there are no records left of this. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they told me. But just researching, looking up old news stories online. There's a Amityville chat room up there where people who have been following this case for 40 years, people hardcore Amityville people. They had put their 2 cents in there. People actually were able to upload documents, so I got to learn more about the case. And it's always been something that I've been interested in as a kid. That movie scared the hell out of me. Not so much, as I got older, I didn't believe in the whole, story of the house being possessed. I like ghost stories. I didn't believe that particularly. So. Yes.
I saw the original and all these other ones. The one that Ryan Reynolds made, I get confused because, like you said, he was the son, like the older brother. They killed civilly in his family.
Yeah.
So with Ryan Reynolds, right?
That's a reboot. They made a
He
reboot.
he was the father. You know what I'm saying?
No, Ryan Reynolds was the murderer. No, I'm sorry. That story was about the Lutz family. That's the second family who moved in after the DeFeos were killed. So yeah,
Another family, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What's your opinion on that movie? Because I'm a snob, and I thought that was actually a really good movie.
Which one? The reboot?
Yeah.
Oh, the reboot. It was fun. They obviously had more technology with CGI stuff, and they took creative liberties, which you have to, because if you're trying to make a film, you have to add your opinions. But it was okay. It was flashy. I'm still partial to the original.
I am too, but I was surprised at how well they did it.
Yeah, the house looked completely different than there was a movie that came out a few years ago called The Amityville Murders, and it didn't get good reviews, but at least I give the filmmaker a lot of credit for creating the way the house really looked. It was all CGI, the house, which I enjoyed that part of it, at least. Yes?
So, didn't the house, some people speculate that the house was actually talking to Ron prior to all of this, right?
That the house was what?
That was supposedly spirits of the house was actually possessing Ronnie prior to all of that. You delve into that?
Yeah, no, I don't go down that path, because he changed his story so many times. When he was in custody, he went from supposedly confessing to the whole thing, which people say the cops beat it out of him and falsified his confession, which could very well be true. We don't know. They didn't videotape it back then. They didn't audio record it, which they should have, which was a little bit suspicious. So, but then he said that his sister was involved in the murders, that he only killed the parents and she killed all the siblings. His story, every time he tried to appeal his conviction, he changed his story. He said during many interviews that the house wasn't haunted, that there weren't any voices that told him to kill. Any other questions, comments, complaints?
So are you going to make the full length?
Only if someone wants to give me money. That's what it always comes down to. I had saved all the money for my personal finances. I got a little money from donors, but that was financed by me, which was a big mistake.
For 3 days.
3 days.
Company moves location.
Company moves, everyone was paid, all the actors were paid except background actors. My crew, of course, which is always the most expensive. The actors, you can unfortunately, I hate to say this to actors, you can lowball them, and they know that. Even though I had a lot of SAG actors, this was a micro-budget SAG production. So you get away with a lot of the rules and regulations that the Screen Actors Guild puts in place. Anything under 20 grand, you're good to go. So, to do this whole thing right, it would be quite a bit of money. Be the biggest budget film that I have, but that's what it is. I've made so many short films. After you make 5 or so short films, you want to graduate to a feature film. But it's tough. You need to find people who believe in you, trust you, and will give you, a decent amount of money so you can make your film. And hopefully they can get a return on their investment somewhere down the road. Yes.
So if again, I'm very impressed by the way you did. That's great.
Thank you.
Now, would you utilize all of what you've already shot and incorporate it into the new?
Well, that all depends. If I have a producer that comes under a financier and says, look, I'll give you $150,000 to make this feature film. However, I'm not too keen on that particular actor, that performance. Would you recast? Yeah, these actors know that. They know that I'm not holding them to this future production. And there are some performances that I wish would have been a little bit better. But, it's tough. And you only have 3 days. And I'm looking at the monitor, the director's monitor, and, I'm like, after the fact, it's like, oh, shit. Why is that person smiling too much? Why didn't I catch it? Why didn't my AD or my script supervisor, you start playing the blame game, but it always comes back to me because I'm the producer. But it's tough. Doing this stuff on a tight schedule, you're going to find mistakes after. It's just the nature of the beast. You can watch on YouTube. You can follow me at Out of Time Pictures. I have my website. I'm on Facebook quite a bit, Rob Levinson. I have lots of other movies you can check out on YouTube. So, thank you.
And then we'll continue afterwards. There's going to be more.